All right, all right, all right. Before I get too much into today's live stream, I do want to I do want to wait and make sure everybody's, well, not everybody, but we have some people in here, so I know if this air conditioning sounds way too loud because it is balls hot in the studio today, just because it's hot outside and then all the equipment. But if it's too loud, I'll turn it off. But I don't want to get into the live stream here too much if it's bothering some people. But give you guys a little bit here to pop in. Mr. Automotive, Beast Mode, 2 OGs already in the chat. Guys, is the AC too loud? Like, is this like blaring in the back? Let me know, because if that is annoying, I'll turn it off and I'll just like sweat my butt off. Y'all can't hear that, like y'all can't hear that in the background? Are you serious? Because if not, then this is a high quality microphone. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. How are y'all doing today? It's been a while since we went live, guys. In today's live stream, first off, I want to talk to you guys about my experience from training camp, okay? I have some takeaways for you guys that I wrote down from camp. They're not as in-depth as I would have, unfortunately, liked them. We'll get into my whole story. I will be there for joint practice with the Panthers on... When is that? It's 2 weeks. So I'll be there for that. I'll have you guys covered for that. I got some merch that got signed, guys. We got signatures on signatures on signatures. I want to show you guys. But I want to give you guys some of my overall notes that I took. I want to give you guys the professional notes from day 7 and 8 too, because I didn't get to give you guys that. I was on the road a lot. I was traveling a lot. With that being said, I'm traveling. I'm not in my studio. I don't even have Wi-Fi to be able to make a video and upload it. So we're going to be doing all that in today's live stream. At the end of the video, we'll have a little Q&A session, just a couple of questions that you guys might have. I know it's been a while since we went live, so I do want to give you guys that respect, give you guys that love that you've been showing me, and answer some of the questions you have. I know that we've uploaded a lot of videos as of late. So it's a lot of content for you guys to catch up on, but unfortunately also a lot of comments within all those videos. So I'm not exactly able to see every single comment that's coming in. And I know there's been some good questions. So I felt like, hey, why don't we go live, share the experience, kind of recap some things, and go from there. So while people come in, I'm going to start to share my thoughts overall. I also want to pull up my notes here. From the 2 days I was at camp. So overall here, guys, I was at camp today and yesterday. Again, that is day 7 and 8, I believe. I have these days correct. I double checked and it added up at first, so it should be correct. But from day 7 and 8, I was personally there at training camp, front row seat, front row view. Hopefully by next year. Fingers crossed, y'all. Fingers crossed, y'all, that I can get a press pass next year so I can chill with the other media members and like actually get some good views. Obviously, right now I just don't have that press pass, so I'm sitting with the rest of everybody else. But I got front row seats, and it was a great experience. If you guys haven't been to training camp and you can get to training camp, do it. It's a great experience. This year they're able to actually do photos and signatures and all that great stuff that we haven't seen in a couple of years due to the whole pandemic. So that was great to finally be able to do that. They were doing some running back drills right in front of me, so I got a good look at some of these running backs. Pierre Strong, really fast. Damien Harris, to me, is still the clear-cut #1 running back. Stevenson's looking good. He's getting some looks here in the return game as a kick returner. That could be what separates him and Damien Harris ultimately this upcoming season. Reading some of these comments here. Sports Unlimited, what's going on, buddy? But unfortunately, guys, I couldn't take any videos for you this year. I really wanted to get some highlights for each day of training camp. I couldn't get you any. Because the Patriots have a new rule that I'm sure this is going to be a new rule for as long as training camp is occurring. No videos. You are not allowed as a fan to take any type of video now during practice. You can take photos, but you may not take audio or video while you are at training camp. That is a new rule implemented this year. Was super pissed off to find that out. But with that being said, unfortunately, no videos for you guys, which I was really looking forward to. Yeah, right. Call Evan Lazar. I don't know what he's working for now, but I was hoping to see him there, but I didn't see him there. Real quick, we got diehard Pats fan. Of course, like I said, we're gonna try to do a little Q&A at the end, just a little one. But anybody that donates, obviously, throughout the entirety of this video, you get priority. You will always get your comments answered. You said that's awesome that you got an autograph. I heard that they were hanging around a bit more and that it was better than last year. Hopefully no more COVID holdups and this continues. Yeah, for sure. And I don't think there will be any more issues. I think that, we're finally going to see these guys back and signing stuff and taking pictures like the good old times. It's unfortunate. No videos. You want to get videos with these guys and you can't because I guess there was somebody like live streaming practice. I never heard about this until I got to training camp. There was like someone like live streaming practice and they were streaming like half of the practice. And obviously with that being said, like there's other teams out there looking for this stuff. There's the Jets, there's the Dolphins. Like there are teams out here that are going to look for these things in order to get some insight on the Patriots, in order to look at their practice. What can they take from the Patriots? And I mean, there's a lot of teams who don't even let at least make fans pay to get into training camp and won't let them take any photography, videos, anything like that. So this isn't really an unknown thing around the league. It's just something the Patriots are now implementing, and it sucks, but it makes a lot of sense. So shout out to diehard Pats fan for a $10 donation. Much love to you. But let's get into my story. So day one, and we're going to get into my notes, but I want to share my story overall. Day one here, we got, and I'm going to try to remember everybody's signature I got because I can't read cursive. Third grade screwed me over, I guess you could say. And let me tell you, if you go to training camp, pro tip, know what you're going to get signed. Know what you're going to get signed before autographs are happening. See, I was a little late for training camp, so my thought was get there, get in, get a spot, like do my thing. I was not thinking about what am I getting signed because honestly, like I've been in training camp before and I didn't get anything signed. This was my first year getting stuff signed. So I was like, honestly, I might not even be at a position where I can get anything signed. Boy, was I wrong. But because of that, I was like, what am I going to get signed? Like I did not think this through. I had a Patriots football in the car that I should have grabbed, but didn't. I should have grabbed this hat, but I didn't. Just a lot of things I should have done. I was like, shoot, should I have them sign my Patriots shirt? But then I was like, I'm not going to take off my shirt in front of everybody. Like, so ultimately, day one, this is what I got signed. All right, take this. Let me take it out real quick. I had to get a new phone case because of this. I didn't want it to smudge or anything like that. Wish it was a Patriots phone case. I mean, I have a Patriots phone case now, but at the time I didn't. You guys can, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. So right here at the top, you can see one signature, and at the bottom, you can see another. These right here, these are the two rookie running backs the New England Patriots drafted just a couple of months ago. This is Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris. They both signed my phone case, so that was pretty dope. What I will say about those guys is that Kevin Harris is a funny dude. Like he was coming over and like we all say, you've heard me, analyze the whole situation with Kevin Harris and even Damian Harris and say, look, if Damian Harris ultimately leaves in free agency at the end of the year, gets traded or whatnot, ultimately not on the Patriots, Kevin Harris is a great player to take over the exact role that Damian Harris is in. To the extent that Damian Harris is, no, of course not. But take over that specific role 100%. And people were like, Damian. And it's not Damian, it's Kevin Harris. And Kevin's like, guys, I'm Kevin. I'm not Damian. Like he's shouting this out to crowd like, yo, guys, it's not Damian, it's Kevin. So that was a little bit of a funny thing. I actually posted this on my main Instagram. Each day I posted the autographs that I got. And I actually got Pierre Strong. Pierre Strong saw my story that I tagged them in. He actually reacted. He did a fire emoji, slid up on my story. And I slid in, guys. I slid in a little bit to try to make some things happen for you. Yo, Jet Central, bro. What's going on? Yo, if y'all need any Jets news, which I know we're all Patriots fans here, but go check out my boy Jet Central. He covers not just the Jets, but he covers everything, guys. I've had him on the channel before. I've been on his channel. He's gonna be on my channel at least in a few months here when the Patriots play the Jets. So y'all can look forward to that. Great guy, great content, all original thoughts here. What's going on, Ian? But yeah, guys. So back to my story here about Pierre Strong. So he slid up on my story with like the fire emoji. And so I tried to slide in for you guys, see if I can get a little bit of an exclusive here. And so I told Pierre, I was like, thanks for, taking the time out of your day, signing some stuff for me. But anyway, I was like, yeah, so like I have this channel. I sent him the link, Patriots Global. I was like, hey man, if you ever want to talk about your transition from college to pros, Pats fans would love it. I have an outlet here. I make news for, the team, everything involving the team. If you ever want to come on, I'd love it. You know where to hit me up. And, he saw it, he hearted it. Obviously nothing in the works, but I put it out there. I put it out there for Pierre Strong to maybe come on the channel. And, now he has me in his DMs. So I might have to contact him a little more. Anyway, so day one, this is part of what I got signed. 2 rookie running backs again, Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong. And then I had my hat. I had my hat. Yeah. Everybody go to my or go to my Instagram or go to his Instagram, tag Pierre Strong. After this live stream, tag Pierre Strong to be like, yo, go on Patriots Global's channel. Let's try to get Pierre on the channel. But again, I didn't know what else to get signed. Not even a Patriots hat. I'm disappointed because these were probably the best autographs I got. My hat here, not Patriots, just a white hat. Guys, the autographs I got on this hat, like, I have to order a new hat because I will not wear this hat. And this is why I wish this was Patriots hat, because of who I got signed on this hat. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So forgive me. I'm trying to remember who. Okay. I'm trying to remember who all signed this. So I know Matt Judon. Matt Judon signed this. Yo, Judon was funny, bro. What you would expect from Judon, like what you hear from Judon out of practice and at games, that's literally his personality on the field. So funny. Actually, him and Devin McCourty were actually joking around at each other like while signing autographs. So funny. Speaking of which, also got Devin McCourty to sign my hat too. So I got Judon and McCourty both to sign the hat. Yo, who else did I get? Because that's just 2. So I got 2 more. Oh, yeah. I got Jelani Tavai. I got Jelani Tavai to sign my hat also. And then one more player. I got one more player to sign it. Who is it? Guys, I trying so hard to think about who this player was, and I can't see. I don't know if y'all can tell who it is, but I know we got Judon. Oh, right. That's who it is. And then the last person who signed my hat here for day one was off-season trade edition from the Cleveland Browns, Chase Winovich for Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson also signed my hat. He's a pretty cool dude too. Overall, they were all super nice, but Damian Harris came up to like when he was, practicing around, he was like, hey, how's everyone doing? Like, some of these guys were definitely more talkative and more outgoing than others, but it was a really great experience. So I definitely got some key ones. McCourty and Judon getting signed. That was crazy. Those are definitely 2 big ones here. So that's what I got signed day one. This stuff right here is what I got day one. And then day 2 today, I was a little bit more prepared. Today than I would have before. Patriots football. Got my Patriots football signed. It's dirty because I play football with it, but I got it signed. I will say today peed me off a little bit more, guys. Today peed me off a little bit more. because so I'm with my mom. My mom's injured. So it gave me a little bit of an upper hand because of where we were able to sit. But this time we go somewhere a little bit different for autographs. They let us go to like these, like if you've been to training camp, there's like a section with people in like the shade and whatnot, and they basically let us go over there when autographs came. Literally the place that I would have been if I stayed, you know, Damian Harris and all is over there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like freaking kidding me? Jonathan Jones was at like the section I was in, gets over to my little clump, hops over us and goes over. And I was like, I mean, he obviously can't sign everyone, but I was like, are you kidding me? And it's one of those awkward things where me and John Jones like locked eyes and he just like walking. And I'm like, yo, can you sign my ball, please? But you know, it's okay. He didn't. Ultimately though, the autographs I got today, I'm not going to say they're as significant as the ones yesterday, but nonetheless, getting anybody to sign your ball, at least one player, like it's an amazing experience. And anybody who signed this, it means a lot. I will say too, probably the thing that peed me off the most, 20 feet from me, if that, Mac Jones is going over signing some stuff for kids. And I was like, and we're all screaming, yo, Mac, come over here. And, you know, if you go to training camp, don't expect Mac to sign your stuff. Like he signs stuff for like kids at like the certain special like help section and whatnot, but he's really not out signing autographs for the most part, taking pictures. Like he really doesn't be doing that. It's got to be special for him to do it. And I'm looking right at it. I'm like, come on, like just come sign my ball, please, bro. Like that's all I need. And he doesn't. He ultimately passed. So that was super unfortunate that ultimately I didn't get that autograph. I would have loved autograph from like John Jones, Damian, Mac Jones today. Like that would have been crazy, but I didn't get those ultimately. But the autographs I did get here, UDFA Brendan Schooler, guys. Schooler is the dopest dude ever. Let me tell you. Brendan Schooler is one of the nicest guys that I've ever met football wise. This guy just loves football. And, you know, we're here and we're all like, you know, thanks for signing, whatever. And he's like, no, like, thank you guys for being here. He was like, you know, I just love playing football. Like that's his exact words. I just love being out here. I love playing football. And you can tell this guy could be the next leader for the Patriots on special teams if that talent can take him there. We're hearing that he could honestly be a UDFA lock here for the Patriots. Great guy, super talkative, asking how everybody's day is. So I got Brendan Schooler to sign. I got JJ Taylor to sign. JJ was also a super cool dude. So I'm hoping he can push the roster this year. It's going to be really hard for him, but I'm hoping he pushes it. I got JJ Taylor to sign. I got Sean Wade, who the Patriots traded for about a year ago, who was a rookie last year from Baltimore. I got his autograph. And then who is this one? Right. Justin Bethel, the ace special teamer and veteran, Justin Bethel. He was also really cool. He was asking how everybody's day was, thanking everybody for being out. So those are the guys that I got today. Like I said, I'll be back there in about 2 weeks for Patriots and Panthers joint practice together. So I'm hoping to get some stuff signed then. But yeah, guys, ultimately being able being able to get this much signed, like as much as I did, I was surprised. Super thankful. And, you know, hopefully some of these, because it's a lot of young guys, hopefully a lot of these young guys can like carve out a role and like, you know, these signatures are like really like worth something. And I don't plan on selling them at all for sure, but, you know, it would be cool to like have stuff mantled up, you know, and it stinks too, because like I would love to have like a jersey or like a photo signed of the player and hang that up, but you don't know who you're going to get. You don't know who's going to come around. You don't know what signatures you're going to get. So like, I don't want to have a picture of Mac Jones and Brendan Schooler signing a picture of Mac Jones. It's like, you know, what's the point? So that's the only tough part, but I would love to get like a player jersey and have the actual player sign it, or a player picture of an actual player sign it. That's the only thing, but nonetheless, like these autographs I got are going to be put over there, and hopefully just one of many. Now, I do want to get into my overall notes here that I took from training camp, and then we're going to get into the professional notes that were taken. Day one here. Day one, some of the notes I had was that it was a lot of work with the running game, and there was just not much going on with it. Now, we've heard a lot of issues about this Patriots offensive line, and I will say from 2 days I was there, One day was padded practice, the other wasn't. So today was a full day of padded practice. Yesterday, nothing was happening. Literally nothing was happening. This was a boring practice to be at. Nothing was going on. Wasn't pads. Nothing good to talk about. But they were working on a lot with the running game. That part of the fact that, no contact was happening could be a good reason why there wasn't much going with the running game. But the offensive line also just wasn't opening up holes for Damien Harris, who was the Patriots' lead back yesterday. I was just seeing him getting clogged a lot. We've heard these worries about the offensive line throughout training camp so far. So it's definitely something I looked for, and it's something that stood out to me. So, when we start to watch these preseason games, it's going to be a true testament to what we can expect from this offensive line. I also had Jonnu Smith, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and Tyquan Thornton with a pass caught in 11-on-11s. The offensive line's also not giving Mac Jones a lot of time to throw. That was one of my big notes, is that Mac Jones gets the ball, and it seemed like right away these guys were up in his face. And it's not even Mac Jones, guys. It's really any quarterback. And yesterday I got to see two quarterbacks, rookie Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones. Today it was Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer, because Brian Hoyer returned from illness. But even yesterday, and even today too, these guys don't have a lot of time to throw. Either the pressure's all up in their face right away, and they're either throwing the ball away, they're under pressure, and they're trying to extend the play, or these quarterbacks, a lot of the time I'm seeing, these quarterbacks are just taking the ball with their feet. Excuse me. And when you don't have a system that's based around a mobile quarterback like the Patriots, who also don't have a mobile quarterback essentially, because Mac Jones isn't a specified mobile quarterback to his specific playing style, the Patriots aren't going to get a lot of success done. So that's something that's really concerning me. Jacoby Myers had a catch in 7-on-7s. Jacoby Myers, I learned from 2 days too. He's getting involved still. The ball's being passed around a lot, but I'm not really seeing big plays from Jacoby Myers, which is why I still stay true to my prediction for the 2022 season that Jacoby Myers will lead the team in receptions, but Kendrick Bourne is going to lead the team in receiving yards. Seeing these guys in person for 2 days, I still 100% believe in that theory. Mills had an interception today on, I believe, a Jacoby Myers, or day one, I should say, or day 6, or day 7. Getting these days mixed up. So yesterday that I was there, had an interception on, I believe, a Jacoby Myers fake pass. Now, Damien Harris did come out. Damien Harris talks a lot of smack. Offense players and defense players talk smack, but Damien Harris is talking smack to AP and McCourty. It is funny to watch. But Damien Harris is saying, nah, Jalen was out. He was out of bounds. It was right in front of me, guys. Jalen Mills caught that interception right in front of my eyes, got his feet down just in time, but that was an interception. Damien tried to say it was out of bounds. I've heard the media try to say it was out of bounds. It was right in front of me. It was in bounds. It was an interception by Jalen Mills. The Patriots tried 2 fakes yesterday with the scout team. So overall, the second team offense and then the first team offense, both of which were not successful. So the little bit of trick plays that we saw so far, they have not been very successful. Adrian Phillips should have had an interception on a pass to number 80. So that is new wide receiver. I'm still getting used to some of these names here. Where is it? He should have had an interception on a pass that was going to Josh Hammond's way. I don't know how he didn't get it. I mean, it was in his hands. It dropped. It was more of a diving type of catch. Still an interception he should have had, but ultimately he dropped it, so he didn't have that interception. So Adrian Phillips overall should have had an interception yesterday. A lot of passing today, I would also say also. While we did see a good amount of run plays early on, I do think that overall today was, or yesterday was a lot more short pass heavy. That's what I've been seeing too for my 2 days there, is that in person, I noticed not a lot of downfield throws. We saw some short to intermediate throws, but we are seeing a lot of short to intermediate throws, a lot of play action, a lot of dump offs to the running backs, a lot of screen passes, and we're hearing Mac Jones is working on the deep ball. In minicamp, we're hearing about the deep ball. You know, you have Nelson Aguilar, you draft the speedster Tyquan Thornton, you draft Pierre Strachan, the fastest running back you've had in years. And so far, I have not seen this offense take that leap, at least the 2 days I was there, to really start extending these offensive plays. So that's something that I definitely took away. Damian Harris had a nice catch on a throw from Mac Jones under pressure. I heard that it was a one-handed catch. I couldn't see if it was a one-handed catch from my perspective. But let me tell you, after that catch, Damian Harris was hyped up. The running backs, or not the running backs, but the wide receivers were hyped up with him. So it very well could have been a one-handed catch, but Mac was under pressure. Defensive lineman was in his face. He throws the ball. It was actually a little bit out of way for Damian Harris, and Damian Harris kind of had to not dive, but he had to really jump for it and just caught the ball. Terrence Mitchell had an interception on Mac Jones also. Now, Jacoby Myers had an end around today. Interesting that they tried Jacoby Myers for an end around. Me personally, I wouldn't have tried him for one. I know that a few days ago, they tried the rookie Tyquan Thornton with an end around, and it worked out pretty successful, obviously due to his speed. I don't know why they would try Jacoby Myers on an end around. I mean, he doesn't have the speed. He's not an after the catch type of guy. So I don't know why that was a play option. But he would have had a significant loss on that play. Nowhere for him to go. He was 5 to 10 yards back from the line of scrimmage on that play. So that would have been an absolute just dime dropper for the Patriots here, and momentum killer if this was in a real game. Now, Patriots third string tight end, Devin Asiasi, had a drop towards the end of practice. Maybe he was tired, but a catch towards the end zone, right to him, should have had the ball and just goes to bring it down to secure the ball and just drops it. Christian Wilkerson actually had a really good end of practice right in front of my face. Christian Wilkerson makes a nice catch on the sideline going down the field. Nice catch in traffic between two defenders. Just gets his feet down, 2 feet down, double taps. Easily, to me, top 2, top 3 play of that day. So that was a really nice play by Christian Wilkerson, who unfortunately we haven't really heard anything about this offseason. So he's really on the outside looking in. And then as for day 2, I didn't have as many notes here. It was a little bit tough to see from where I was sitting, more specifically because I don't know what it was today. Now, today was full pads, but they had the offense constantly in my face. Like, all the offensive players were all just gathered up, right where I was. And I'm leaning over. I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm like, yo, scoop down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see what's happening. But some notes I had today. Overall, contact was back. It was all pads today. Hoyer was back today. He was also in pads. Like I said, he's been out. He was apparently dealing with an illness, but he returned back today. He took over those reps again as the second team quarterback from rookie Bailey Zappi. Hoyer had a bad throw to Trey Nixon. This was ultimately Hoyer's first day really back and actually throwing and under pads and contact, but he did not look good. He was constantly overthrowing players, which, I mean, we always see that from Brian Hoyer, even when he started games for the Patriots, he's overthrowing guys. And he just had a really bad overthrow from Trey Nixon. And you hear Adrian Peterson and Devin McCourty yell, yo, Hoyer, what's wrong with you? They were getting on his butt because that was a terrible throw. They're like, Hoyer, what are you doing? You overshot that ball so bad to Trey Nixon. They were getting on his butt for it. It was actually really funny. But he also had a couple more overthrows. He had an overthrow to Devin Asiasi. So it's not even just these shorter receivers. He's overthrowing, 6'4", 6'5" tight ends also. Mac would have gotten sacked in 11-on-11s. I couldn't see exactly who the defensive player was, but I know that he was getting sacked in 11-on-11s again. The sack occurred pretty much right away. Mac Jones gets the ball, snaps, does his drop back. He's looking, and right away he's shaking. He's under pressure. He's going left. He's going right. And as soon as he starts to dart for it, and they didn't ultimately actually go up and sack him. He just, the whistle was blown, and there was 4 defenders around him. And then JJ Taylor also had a drop right outside of the end zone, right in front of my face today in 11-on-11s. He's about 3 yards from being inside the end zone, gets a pass from Mac, goes to bring it in. A little bit of a low pass. I would say he's by his thighs, goes to bring in the pass and goes up with the ball because, you're running. He's down with it, goes to bring it up, and the ball drops. And he's frustrated about it, claps his hands. Is a ball he 100% should have had. Again, when you're J.J. Taylor, and he signed my ball. He signed my ball. So I don't want to say anything bad about him. But unfortunately, from an analytical perspective, you can't have plays like that when you're, definitely struggling to make the roster. But I will also say J.J. Taylor looked good at returning kicks today. He's been someone who's been involved with punt returning and kick returning. And I thought J.J. looked good returning kicks today. There's a lot of competition for him there, but there's a body that needs to be there. And if J.J. is going to make the team, honestly, at this point, he's going to have to do that by being a return man. All right, we're going to block whoever this is. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Read some of the comments. I'm going to put you for co-host on Patriots B. Yeah, go ahead. Spam them. Let them know. Patriots Global's open for business. I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm here, Alex. Where you at? No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Shout out to Lulu Pats for Life for a 20. I repeat, y'all, a $20 donation. Lulu is showing out. You said, let's go, Patriots Global's fans. Yes, sir. You said time to show Kobe some love. Let's all hit Pierre Strong and see if we can get if we can help our bro score an interview. Broadcasting is a dream. Let me scroll down a little more. Each step can get him closer. B2W saw you today. Did you really? You should have said something. You should have said something, man. I mean, I didn't really put out where I was. I thought about it, but I was like, do I want to be that guy? I'll be there for joint practice. So if y'all are there for joint practice, you'll see me there. You'll see me there. And I'll let you guys know where I'm sitting. If anyone wants to come chill, come talk some Patriots with me, get some pictures, whatever, I'm always down. But nah, man, if you guys see me there, always come up to me. Always come up to me. I'm always down. But Lulu, I appreciate that $20 donation. Yeah, y'all hit Pierre Strong up and be like, yo, tag me. Be like, yo, do a collab with Patriots Global. And let's try to get him on the channel. All right. Dude, I tried to get over you after practice, but somehow by the time I got from the grass to the seats, I couldn't find you. Would enjoy meeting you and talking to you in person and maybe get your autograph. Yeah, man, I'm always down. Always down. So, like I said, I'll be back in 2 weeks. So if you're there for joint practice, let me know. Let me know. I usually sit at the same spot. I usually sit in the front, like on like the bleachers, in the very front, but like at the very end of the bleachers. So like if you're at training camp, like there's the grass and that's where the field goal is. And then right along here is all the bleachers. So I'd be at the very end of the bleachers on the opposite side of where like the grass area is from where everyone on the grass and like the field is sitting. So that's usually where I sit for anyone who wants to come hit me up when I'm there in 2 weeks for joint practice. Lulu Pass for Life has some notes. He said, I don't know about you, but from what I saw, Mac has been holding on to the ball longer than he should. Yeah, that's something I was going to write down, was like Mac's holding on to the ball a lot. But I didn't want people to think like, oh, it's necessarily Mac's fault. Now, I will say there was a time where like I'm seeing Damian Harris with like 10 yards on a guy and Mac's not throwing him the ball. And I'm like, Mac, what are you doing, dude? He's right here. And Mac goes and runs and, gets like 5 yards. And obviously at the end of the day, he can't see everything. Like that. It's just any quarterback can't see everything on the field all at once. But I did realize that he's holding onto the ball for a long time. And this could be a majority of several different things. One of which we heard last week early on at camp is that these receivers aren't getting open. At the end of the day, Mac's not going to throw the ball into super tight coverage. If the guy's not open, he's not going to throw the ball. So with that being said, that would make a lot of sense. Hey, Mac's holding on to the ball for a longer time because he has nowhere to throw the ball. Again, this is something that really is going to be a testament to itself in a week, guys. Guys, this is something I was thinking about when I was coming home. we are hearing about all these concerns for the Patriots. The Patriots offense, the offensive line. The offense has won one day. The offense has won one day. One day of training camp, and the other day was a tie. The rest of the days have been the defense. That is concerning to me. But we are 1 week away from our first preseason game. Next month, real NFL football is back. But we play a preseason game, an NFL game next week against the Giants on the 11th. Nobody's talking about it, but we got a game coming. And this team does not look ready. This looks like some mini camp, maybe like right in the beginning of training camp. This is not like we look like we've been in training camp for, 8 days at this point. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't sound like that. It doesn't look like it. I'm concerned. Defensively, it really doesn't look bad. It's more so the offense, especially the offensive line and guys getting open, plays being evolved. You said, do you know who got hurt today? Yes, I do. It was later on in practice, maybe 20, 30 minutes of camp. I did see that. I was trying to see who it was. Ultimately, I did find out who it was after I saw him get up. But yeah, for those who don't know, today, Jelani Tavai, my guy who signed my hat. I was actually so upset to see it. So upset. He's such a nice guy. He's so funny too. He was like talking to this dude next to me about like benching and squatting and what he benches and all. But yeah, Jelani Tavai went down today with an injury. To the extent of the injury, I'm not sure. Today was the hottest day of camp. Today was blazing hot out, guys. It was so hot. If you were there, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if the heat got to him, but there was some contact. It was like it was the final rep of practice, the final rep for the defense. And he's down on the ground. Everybody's kind of surrounding him. You have defensive players taking a knee, defensive players standing around him, and he's down on the ground for a while. I would say a solid 5 minutes. Maybe he's on the ground and then gets up, and then we don't see him. So we'll have to see the extent of the injury and exactly what it is. But yeah, Jelani Tavai is the guy that went down today with the injury. Shout out to you again, Lulu Pats for life, for showing some love. Did I get to see Brad Hawkins and Jalen, the two new safeties, at practice? I didn't see anything that stood out. Obviously you see the guys at practice. You see him walking around, you see him running around. Like I saw Brian Hoyer the first day I was there and he wasn't practicing. I saw James White, who was there but not practicing. So see them, yeah, but are they doing anything that's standing out? Are they making plays? Are they rolling with like the scout team, or at least the starting team? No, they're not, but they also just got here. But yeah, there's nothing about them that's standing out yet, but they also just got here. So I'm not too concerned about that. But let's go over. Let's go over professional notes here, though. From day 6. Nope. Day 7 and 8. I keep saying 6 and 7, but day 7 and 8. All right. Let's start with yesterday. All right. So yesterday. That's right. Is this right? I feel like I was there day. Nope. Yeah, that's right. Oh, there we go. There it is. Okay. So this is the recap for yesterday. I gave you guys some of my notes, but these are actual like written down professional notes by all the media members put together. So general notes: not participating. James White still not there. Dalton Keene, Andrew Stuber, Chasen Hines, Jabril Peppers, said this before. Andrew Stuber and Chasen Hines are going to be IR. Don't expect them to play this season or do anything. Brian Hoyer returned, but he was limited. Ramondre Stevenson was limited. Pierre Strong was limited. Lil Jordan Humphrey was limited. Dietrich Wise, Malcolm Butler, and Devin McCourty were limited. That's another thing I will say. I did not see Malcolm Butler playing at all my first day at training camp. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Like I said, yesterday they were back in shorts and shells, no contact. It was a very light practice overall. There wasn't any serious takeaways. It was really a walkthrough practice. Guys, it was a boring. I'm gonna be honest. It was a pretty boring practice to be at. Nothing was happening, like literally at all. You could tell it was a walkthrough. They said that it was just the type of practice where they're just trying to get in the right alignments. Everyone needs to be where they're supposed to. Like it's like when you practice your graduation. Like if you're about to graduate, you have to practice your graduation, know where you're standing, know where your line is. Like that's basically what this was. It was really fixing the mental errors and working more on the run game. As for the quarterbacks, 11 on 11, Mac Jones on the day was 9 for 12 with an interception, while Bailey Zappi was 13 for 18. Mac Jones on 7 on 7s was 6 for 6, while Zappi was 5 for 6. Both quarterbacks were super accurate, which also went to say because there wasn't much pass rush with no contact, guys. Like the defensive line and offensive line aren't much to take away when there's no contact. Bailey Zappi and Kevin Harris got a lot of opportunity on a flea flicker today. There was a deep ball to Josh Hammond that was broken up. Running backs, Damian Harris made a nice one-handed grab, like I mentioned earlier. J.J. Taylor scored a touchdown on a screen pass that ended up doing a somersault then into the end zone. I will say, too, from what I saw day one that I was there, the running game in the end zone looked really good. Wide receivers, Devontae Parker did not see a ball coming on a Mac Jones interception. The two talked it over once the play was over to try to correct that future error. Jacoby Myers, Christian Wilkerson, and Ty Montgomery saw the most targets. The offense ran a trick play from Jacoby Myers that threw a pass. The offense ran a trick play for Jacoby Myers to throw a pass where he caught it behind the line of scrimmage from Zappi, but it resulted in an incompletion. Like I mentioned, that was an interception, not an incompletion. I was literally right in front. Kendrick Bourne caught a touchdown from Mac Jones in the final red zone drill of the day. Christian Wilkerson making a really nice grab in coverage over Sean Wade. Sean Wade pushed him off this path, but Christian Wilkerson was able to readjust. Nothing on the tight ends. Offensive line, Allrington Hambright. This is a name I'm still not used to. Saw a lot of action today at starting reps at right guard. He was swapping a lot with Michael Onwenu on occasion, so this could be a guy to watch as a low-key starter here for the Patriots. Sacks here for the defense. LeBron Ray had one. Jeremiah Farms, who's been standing out, also had one. Matthew Judon blew up one of the final red zone drills of the day. Linebackers, Mac Wilson had one sack. Cornerback interceptions, Terrence Mitchell had one. Marcus Jones had a breakup. Safeties, Adrian Phillips had one pass breakup, while Kyle Duggar had one. And then Joshua Bledsoe saw increased reps again for another practice with Devin McCourty out. And then your special teams punt returners were Trey Nixon, Marcus Jones, and Miles Bryant. Ultimately, guys, there was no other notes for yesterday's practice. Like I said, it was literally nothing. Let's recap today's practice with these professional written down notes by the media. So for today's practice, the people who did not practice, James White, Dalton Keene, Andrew Stuber, Jason Hines, and Matthew Judon. Interesting. Judon was fine. He didn't tweak anything. He was signing autographs after practice day one, like I mentioned. I got the evidence for it right here. So it must have been an excuse absence or something that he just wasn't there. Guys who returned, Little Jordan Humphrey, Malcolm Butler, Devin McCourty, and Jabril Peppers did return today. Limited. I will say, too, Jabril Peppers was on the opposite side of the field, so he is still looking like he's rehabbing a little bit. Fully padded practice. Warmest day of training camp so far, like I mentioned to you guys earlier. Very, very hot today. The Patriots did their annual rookie slip and slide fumble recovery today. Matthew Slater had control of the hose and was said to have had a great time. Now, unfortunately, we, the fans, did not get to see that because it was on the separate field. As for quarterbacks, 11 on 11, Mac Jones was 14 for 19 with 2 drops. Brian Hoyer, none. Zappi was 1 for 5, 7 on 7s. Mac Jones was 3 for 3. Hoyer was 2 for 2, and Zappi was 4 for 4. Better day overall for the quarterbacks. They did have to carry their load today with the running game pretty much being non-existent. Like I said, the holes for the running game just weren't opening up. They didn't finish the red zone drill at the end of practice yet again. Not sure why. Brian Hoyer was in the mix today. Like I said, he did miss a few days due to injury, but he was back taking those second-team offensive snaps. There was a miscommunication between Mac Jones and Tyquan Thornton today in one-on-ones. Mac overthrew Tyquan, but he had stopped running his route. Mac Jones was absolutely pissed off at the rookie. Running backs, J.J. Taylor had one drop. Ramondre Stevenson did mix in a lot after being limited yesterday. The rookie Pierre Strong got some reps in 11-on-11s today and appears to be back to full strength, so good news there. J.J. Taylor had a nice carry and reception for good gains on back-to-back plays. Wide receiver Trey Nixon had a drop. Quiet day overall for Devontae Parker and team drills, no catches. I saw nothing of Devontae Parker today. I saw some yesterday slightly, but today, absolutely nothing for Devontae. Jacoby Myers had an active session today, caught all 5 balls in team drills. He was a guy who, like I said, because of the day he had today and even yesterday, it proves my point that I believe he'll still lead the team in receptions, but I have Kendrick Bourne leading the team in yards next year. Jacoby Myers ran a great route where he beat Jack Jones in one-on-one coverage. Nelson Aguilar beat Jalen Mills, Malcolm Butler, and Jonathan Jones cleanly in one-on-one today. Wasn't able to haul in a ball against Butler, though. Overall, Nelson Aguilar standing out really, really well. The rookie Tyquan Thornton hauled in a deep ball from a connection with rookie quarterback Bailey Zappi. And then Trey Nixon had a pair of nice catches today from Mac Jones in 11-on-11s, with one being a touchdown. For the tight ends here, Jonnu Smith had 6 receptions in team drills and led the way. Jonnu Smith went 2-0 in one-on-ones, beating Adrian Phillips and Brendan Schooler. Now, before we get on to the rest of this, I do have a little Patriots Global commercial thing, if I can pull it up. So watch this real quick, y'all, as we take a little bit quick of a break before we hop on to defense.
Before we do hop into today's video, though, I do want to give you guys a little update that your boy has decided to update his merch. We do still have all of the old stuff, along with some really good new ideas that I've been working on for the past couple weeks, and more ideas will be continue to be added. Like always, if you do buy merch, send me a picture of you rocking it. I will include you in the next video. Like always, link in the description box below.
Yes, sir. So if you guys do want to buy some Patriots Global merch, that link is always in the description in all of the videos. And like I said, I'll be there for a joint practice with the Panthers in 2 weeks. I just still can't remember the dates off the top of my head. So, hey, if I see you rocking some Patriots Global merch, I might just have to run up to you and tackle you with a big old hug. But let's hop on to the defense here for the notes. Let me scroll down. We actually forgot the offensive line. So let me do the offensive line real quick. Isaiah Wynn and Justin Herron both had wins today against Ronnie Perkins in one-on-ones. Honestly, not hearing much at all from Ronnie Perkins when we're expecting a big leap from him in the second year. So hopefully he can show out in the preseason, because so far he's not showing anything. Like literally anything. Michael Onwenu had a strong rep against Christian Barmore today in one-on-ones. That is actually saying a lot, because Christian Barmore has been the best player in training camp so far and has been the most consistent. The rookie Cole Strain had a win today against Lawrence Guy in one-on-ones. David Andrews had wins against Devon Godchow and Daniel Aquale in one-on-ones. Yanni Kajust had a win today against DeMarcus Mitchell in one-on-ones. William Sherman had a win against Carl Davis in one-on-ones, and Cody Russi had a win against Devon Godchow in one-on-ones. Moving on to defense here. Speaking of Devon Godchow, he would have had a sack today along with DeMarcus Mitchell. DeMarcus Mitchell would have had a pressure today also, while Devon Godchow would have had 2 run stuffs. So DeMarcus Mitchell and Devon Godchow, probably the standout players defensively today. Another great session by the defensive line overall today, especially against the Patriots offensive line when it comes to the run game. It hasn't been close all camp. This Patriots defensive line, when it comes to contact and pads on, and they're actually able to go up against each other offensively versus defensively, the defensive line for the Patriots is always just beating up this Patriots offensive line in pass protection, in run blocking, you name it. This offensive line is just not holding up. Could that be because the Patriots offensive line is bad, or because the defensive line is that great? We'll just have to see, but I'm going to lean more on the offensive line having issues. Josh Uche had a win today against Yanni Kajust in one-on-ones. Overall, Josh Uche was 3-0. Ronnie Perkins, again, quiet in one-on-ones. Anthony Jennings took a lot of Matthew Judon's reps today with him being absent. Now, this is something to take away for me personally, because Anthony Jennings, he was rolling with the starters today. He's rolling with the starters with Matthew Judon being out. And one of the big things about Anthony Jennings in college was his ability to rush the passer. We saw a little bit of that, not too successful with, though, in his rookie season. obviously it's been a minute. It's been a minute since his rookie season. It's been about 2 years now. So he could be someone who the Patriots have kind of for that backup edge role for Matt Judon. Christian Barmore had easily the easiest win of the day against James Ferentz in one-on-ones, also beating Michael Onwenu after losing to him the first time. Daniel Aquale also beat James Ferentz in one-on-ones. LeBron Ray had a good win against Trent Brown in one-on-ones, who, hey, people are not moving Trent Brown throughout camp. So LeBron Ray, low-key, he's been a little inconsistent at times, but low-key, this is a man to watch. And I told you guys to watch out for him because he could be a UDFA that really puts himself out there. And so far he has. And then Jeremiah Farms also got past Cody Rusty in one-on-ones. Nothing about the linebackers, but as for the cornerbacks, pass breakups, Jack Jones had one, Sean Wade had one. And then Jonathan Jones had a strong win against Tyquan Thornton in one-on-ones. Safeties, pass breakups, Adrian Phillips had one, Kyle Duggar had one, and Jalen Elliott also had one. So for those asking about the recently signed players, this isn't a play I personally saw, but he did get a little bit of action here in Jalen Elliott. And then Kyle Duggar went 2-0 in one-on-ones, defeating Hunter Henry and Devin Asiasi. So finally a good day here for Kyle Duggar against those tight ends. And then as for the special teams, kick returners were Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, J.J. Taylor, Marcus Jones, and Kyle Duggar. What I will say is that the speed of Tyquan Thornton, wow, that stands out. Him as a gunner on special teams, that dude is down the field before the ball is in the returner's hands. It is absolutely insane. That speed is showing itself off. And Marcus Jones, that size, the size we talked about of him, how small he is, that definitely showcases itself. I will say that. He is a small guy. Looks like the smallest player on the field. And now you know why he's not an outside corner. But I want to answer some questions here. Take questions for maybe about the next 10 minutes. I'm an idiot, buddy. What's going on? Lulu Pats for Life says, I heard Friday's practice is going to be in stadium. Have you heard this? Because it's my understanding that it will be open to Foxborough residents. Doesn't matter because I don't reside there. Yeah, dude, me either. Unfortunately. But yeah, see, I'm back home anyway, either way. So I won't be there tomorrow. But yeah, tomorrow, guys, is an in-stadium practice. Friday will be an in-stadium practice. Unfortunately, this isn't open to the public. A lot of times they change it last minute where the public is welcome. And then, a lot of times they'll have a practice that isn't open to the public and then a practice shortly after in-stadium that is open to the public. I know I've been to one or two open in-stadium practices. They're really cool, but usually the in-stadium practices, not a lot happens. You would think an in-stadium practice is a lot more involved, but the ones I've been to were just never really involved. It's usually more laid back. But yeah, tomorrow will be an in-stadium practice. You can buy tickets. I know people have been selling tickets to it and whatnot, so that is something you could do if you're interested in going. But yeah, it will be in stadium. Is the stadium even ready? I was there. So I will say the stadium's not ready. They did say it's supposed to be ready for the start of the season. They have to mean the 2023 season. I don't see a world in which it's going to be ready for 2022. They are not ready. They are not ready. But, either way, they'll be fine. The construction that's going on with Gillette Stadium isn't going to affect the games. It's not on the field. It's not to a point where the players or whatever can't get on the field. So everything within the stadium is fine. It's just really the exterior, the outlook of the stadium. So basically, if you know Gillette Stadium, you've been to Gillette Stadium, right outside of Patriots Place, the pro shop rather. That's where all the construction's going on. So that's locked off. So there's usually a gate where fans can go up and the guys come out of the locker room, or you can kind of get a field ground view of the field, or a ground view of the field, I should say, rather, excuse me. That's locked off because construction's going on all around it. But that's really the only place construction's going on. I just don't see it being ready for the start of the season. The start of 2023 for sure, but not this year. Yes, I do actually kind of want to touch on that real quick. Jake Bailey, I was pleasantly surprised. I posted something on Instagram for those who didn't see. I'll actually read it for you. Follow the Instagram if you haven't already, guys, by the way, patriots.global. But I said, with the Patriots signing punter Jake Bailey to a 4-year contract, this creates a significant amount of cap space for the New England Patriots. $4.7 million to be exact, bringing the team up to about $4.9 to $5 million in available cap space. Now, the Patriots don't have $5 million in cap space right now because since then they've signed like 3 players. So that's obviously going down. But it's one of those things where you're like, damn, the Patriots just freed up $4.7 million. Why did you not extend Jake Bailey before? Like, it was just interesting because it was like 1 or 2 days after training camp, Jake Bailey's already getting that extension. Not surprised at all. This makes him, I believe, now the 3rd highest paid punter, 2nd or 3rd highest paid punter in the NFL. So, well deserved. You think he's going to have a bounce back year for sure. He's looking good so far. Those punts are absolutely booming. They're not giving him all the workload. They are getting the other punter some work also. Probably trying to just keep overall Jake Bailey fresh. But I love the contract. You have your punter for the next 4 years. You free up $4.7 million. I don't know why we didn't do this before, honestly. Ashton, what's going on? Hope you and your family are doing well, bro. Yes, buddy, you too. I've seen a lot of people ask about this. What are my thoughts on Trey Nixon? So Trey Nixon started off really slow. So he was just bombing it out during minicamp, at least based off of what we heard. Started training camp doing absolutely nothing. He wasn't getting any looks. He wasn't rolling with the first team. He wasn't pulling in any receptions. But I would say he's picked it up since then. He hasn't had like the play of the day. He hasn't been a top 3 player for me for training camp. Honestly, if I made a winners and losers video right now, which I did make one on the channel for the first week of training camp, but if I made one right now, Trey Nixon would still not be a winner or a loser on that video. So, not great, but hey, he's not a loser at the end of the day, and that's definitely good. He's gotten more involved. He's had some catches. He's rolled more with the starting offense. We've seen him and Mac Jones have a pretty good connection so far, but nothing's standing out to me. I think in order for him to make this roster, one, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to keep showing up at practice and being consistent overall. He doesn't necessarily have to be flashy. It'd be great if he is, but ultimately he just needs to be consistent and reliable. But he needs to show out in the preseason, and I think that would solidify him a spot. But other than that, yeah, we're not really hearing anything. Nothing big is happening like we've been hearing from minicamp. Where's the hat from? I got this hat as a gift, but I'm sure if you look up like Patriots bucket hat, you could easily find it. Jonnu looking good in training camp. Yeah, Jonnu is actually looking really good in training camp. Since I was there, I've just realized he looks really reliable. He just looks more comfortable and natural within this Patriot system this year. He was making crazy plays like the few days leading up to training camp that I was there. And then the 2 days I was there, like nothing crazy happened. And I was like, of course. Not that I could have, captured it anyway, because you're not allowed to record videos now at practice. But anyway, yeah, he made this really nice play today where there was like a bunch of defenders in the vicinity of him. And he did like this like 180, like mid-air catch and landed and just like bulldozer through a couple of guys. And he was just lit about it. Like he was hype afterwards. It wasn't anything crazy. Like it's not like he bursted off for like 40 yards or caught this like insane touchdown, but it was definitely a good catch in traffic that like looked like the pass was a little bit out of the way of him, but he made sure to ultimately bring it in and retain the ball and keep it safe. Twofold questions. One, when can we do a joint episode? Maybe a regular season game or something. Hey man, hit me up. I will say, Patreon members, if you're a Patreon member, you already know this, but Patreon members, they do get like exclusive benefits. So if anyone wants to be a Patreon member, you can get that in the link in the description below. You can see all the benefits. But Patreon members were there for me live during the draft, and then also they're going to be doing a like before the season like live stream with me here too. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely join that. But for sure, shoot me like a DM or something. And then 2, what games are you going to this year? So far, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out like schooling and stuff for me. So I might be in Florida at some point. When, I'm not sure. So I'm not 100% sure what games I'll be going to this year. I definitely want to try to get to at least one. I really want to see a game in Gillette. So I think that's one of my biggest goals for this season. So we'll see. Looked into maybe Pittsburgh and going there to see a Patriots game. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure 100%. But when I do know for sure, I'll let you guys know. Either way, expect full coverage on all the games on this channel, though. Jelani's injury is a right leg injury, and supposedly was caused with no contact. Does this concern you? What are your thoughts on his season? And Jelani Bill has high hopes for him, but I'm a bit worried. I mean, like I said, like I like Jelani Tavai after being able to just like talk to him as a person and get some stuff signed by him. But he's not the most crucial player to the Patriots defense. I do think that he was going to make overall the Patriots roster. He was going to play a role defensively and on special teams. Nothing crazy, but I do think he would have definitely played a role, a rotational role for the Patriots for this upcoming season. Non-contact injuries always do concern me, just because if you're going down and you're going down for that long and you didn't get hit by anyone, you overextended something, you tore something, like that's usually the case. And like I said, like he was down on the ground, like holding his head, like it wasn't enough where the entire team's like crowding around it, but you had quite, you had like 3 or 4 defensive linemen kneeling. You had like Dietrich Wise and like 4 other defensive linemen like standing above while the medical staff was over with him. And like I said, he was on the ground for like 5 minutes. So he definitely dealt with some type of injury, but to the extent of what it is, I don't know. And unfortunately, we're not going to really find out because it's off season. It's not regular season. So Bill doesn't have to come out and say the extent to their injury. Ultimately, what I'll say is wait till the next media practice that's open. I know that today was the last day that's like open to like the public. That at least has been posted. I know a lot of times last minute they'll add some more. So I don't know if they're off practice tomorrow or whatnot, but I would say next time we get some practice and some news on this team when the media is there, the big pressing question is going to be, is Jelani Tavai absent, or is he limited, or is he full participant? Those 3 categories will really give us an indication on where he's at. If he's absent, it's probably something a little bit more serious, especially if he's if he's not there for several practices, it's definitely something serious. If he's limited, then I'd expect him to be back soon. If he's a full participant, then, he just probably bruised something. Is this person back? How many times do I got to block this dude? Phil Perry was saying really good things about Trey Nixon the other day. Look, here's what I'll say about Trey Nixon. He was the standout in minicamp. He hasn't been standing out, okay? He's made a couple of good plays for sure, but he's not standing out. He's not someone I would make on my winners or losers video to this point. Minicamp, for sure. Up to this point, yes. Is he a loser? Not by any means. But he hasn't done something to really be like, Trey Nixon is showing out. Trey Nixon is popping out. He's not doing something where I'm like, I need to talk about Trey Nixon. But yeah, Trey Nixon, his route running looks good. He's showing speed. He shows that he can have a role on an NFL team for sure, which is why I'm saying he just needs to continue to be consistent and reliable and then show out in preseason, which won't surprise me at all. And I think he has a really good shot at making this team. He just has to continue to show that, like, and he has to stay healthy too, because you can't do anything if you're not healthy. Asher, we're gonna get past Global Info Coast on Patriots Beat. What do you think? Yeah, let them know. Say, yo, where's Patriots Global on this thing? Like at least have me on as a guest, right? Like, why not? I've actually worked a little bit with CLNS Media before with like a media program or a partnership program. So it's not like I'm not very familiar with them. Excuse me, guys. How would you upgrade the offense so far? And also, how do I become a Patreon member? Love your content. Tyron, bro, I really appreciate that. So all my videos, I don't think it's in the link in this one. I think I forgot to make a description for this. My bad. I'll fix that later. But if you go to my channel, you can go to the About section. There's a Patreon like link there you can click on. Or click on the latest video that I posted. Hit the description box. It will say how to support the channel. And it will say like Patreon. Just click that link and it's easy to sign up. I think it's like $10 a month and you get exclusive benefits. You join a Discord like group chat with me and the other Patreon members. We all talk. We talk about breaking news. It's the best way to contact me and other members when I'm obviously not on the air and whatnot. So for anyone that's interested. Also, to answer the first part of your question, how would I upgrade the offense so far? Honestly, I don't think you need to upgrade pass catching wise. I don't think you need upgrades. I don't think you need upgrades at quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, running back. Like, I think you have the personnel to succeed. I think what they need is to execute, honestly. If I'm going to add any additions, it's going to be to the offensive line. I can't say where exactly I would add to the offensive line at this point because we don't know exactly where the offensive line is struggling right now. Like, we just know it's struggling and opening holes for the run game. We know that it's not giving enough time to Mac Jones to throw the ball, but we don't know exactly who it is. We're just hearing it's the offensive line. And while I'm watching, I'm not at a perspective where I can see one specific guy where it's caving in. So, first off, I would say execution and try to evaluate this offensive line. Is it an execution thing or is it a player personnel thing? If it's personnel, you need to make some type of adjustment because the offensive line is like the engine to a car. I always say it, and I'm going to continue to say it. Your engine's wrong, your whole car is going to be messed up. If this offensive line is messed up, this whole offense is going to be messed up. From running game to the passing game to Mac Jones, like, we're not going to run anything fluidly. So that needs to be fixed for sure. This offensive line started off terrible last season and then picked it up as the season went on. We can't afford that. We cannot afford to go off to a slow start again. We have to start heavy. We have to jump off heavy. We ended the season heavy. Like, we need to start this season off right. And that starts offensively. If we're talking about the offense here, that starts with the offensive line. So the Patriots definitely need to get that figured out. You mentioned your mom on several occasions. I got to ask, is she a fan? Football? Patriots? Just curious. Obviously, she's a Patriots Gold fan. I'm just wondering if she has always liked New England or what. So I actually really learned football from my dad and that kind of side and watching it. First time I went to training camp was with my dad and my family from my dad's side. So that's kind of how I picked it up and fell in love with it. My mom's always liked sports, like football, baseball, mostly baseball, stuff like that. Just watched football and like knew what was going on. But she didn't really like get into it till I started doing the channel and it blew up. Since then, she knows the players. She knows the news. She goes to training camp. Like, yeah, she's all for it. So, yeah, she's with it all. Oh, grade the offense. Grade the offense. Like a letter grade. So through training camp, I'd probably say like a C+, B-. I feel like towards the beginning of camp, we saw some good things, but especially as of late, we haven't, and the defense continuously wins. We only heard one day where the offense won, and then one day where it was a tie. So you could say they had like 1.5 wins ultimately throughout 8 days of training camp, which is not good. And honestly, you have to understand is that we've only had a few days of padded practice. And the days we've had of padded practice, we heard bad things about pass blocking, run blocking, and execution offensively. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to be playing with pads. We're going to be playing with more contact than they're having here in practice when the pads are actually on. You don't get a great look when it's no contact and no pads. So the fact that when the pads and contact do occur, we're not seeing anything that's improved here by the offense, that's a sign for concern. So I'd honestly probably lean more towards a C+, but you could push a B- because we did see some good things early on from these receivers like Devontae Parker and Jonnu. Dude, you better start pumping some vitamins and water because that cough don't sound good. Dude, I've had this cough for like a few weeks, so yeah, it's kind of killing me. But guys, I think that's going to end it for today's live stream. I really appreciate everybody who tuned in. A lot more content coming your way, guys. I appreciate everybody who donated. Those are going to become a Patreon member. Make sure you guys leave this stream a big thumbs up and get ready for a lot more content coming your way now that we are back in Boston, or excuse me, now that we're back from Boston. And of course, we'll be back in Boston in just a couple of weeks for joint practice with the Panthers. But like always, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But don't forget, Pats Nation, go Pats. Lulu Pats for life. Thank you for your $10 donation at the end of the stream. You said this one's for your mom. Shout out to Patriots Global Madre. That's a good one. I'll have to put that on a jersey for her or something. Put it on a shirt. That's a good one here. I'll even pin that for you before we end off. Shout out to you, Lulu Pats for life. Absolutely killed it with the donations today. Much love to you. Love y'all. Chill and go Pats. Get ready for some more content.